Welcome to Crime Exposed, where we dive deep into the most chilling and disturbing true crime stories. Tonight, we're uncovering the twisted tale of Rurik Jutting, a man who seemed to have it all: a successful career in finance, a life in one of the world's most vibrant cities, Hong Kong. But behind closed doors, something much darker was brewing. On October 27, 2014, Rurik made a decision that would forever change the lives of two women and send shockwaves through the city. What led this promising young banker down a path of brutality, and how did a man with everything to lose become a monster? Stick with us as we unravel the sinister truth behind the crimes of Rurik Jutting, and don't forget to subscribe to Crime Exposed for more shocking stories that delve into the darkest corners of the human mind. It was a calm night in Hong Kong. The city, known for its gleaming skyscrapers and bustling streets, sat in an eerie silence as most of its inhabitants rested after another long day. High above the city, in a luxurious apartment on the 29th floor of the J residence, something dark was brewing. The date was October 27, 2014, a date that would change everything. In the heart of the city, behind closed doors, Rurik Jutting, a 29-year-old banker working for a prestigious firm, prepared to make a decision that would lead to horrific consequences. Little did anyone know that a man who had once been seen as a promising young professional would soon reveal the depths of his depravity. Rurik Jutting, originally from the United Kingdom, had arrived in Hong Kong in 2011. He quickly found success working for Bank of America Merrill Lynch, a prestigious investment bank. To outsiders, Rurik was living the dream, an expat in one of the world's most vibrant cities, earning a six-figure salary, frequenting the finest bars and restaurants, and rubbing elbows with high society. Yet, behind the polished facade, something was wrong. He had started to unravel mentally and emotionally. His behavior became erratic, his relationship strained. But what could have driven someone so outwardly successful to commit the unthinkable? Rurik's life appeared to be charmed. He had a beautiful apartment, a high-paying job, and the luxury of indulging in his darker desires. But despite his success, he struggled privately with his mental health, battling feelings of isolation, dissatisfaction, and loneliness. Those closest to him, including friends and co-workers, began to notice subtle changes in his behavior. In the weeks leading up to the crime, there were signs, small but ominous, that Rurik's thoughts had turned dark. His online behavior became more disturbing, and his interactions with women became increasingly problematic. But no one could have predicted the horror that was about to unfold. On the night of October 27, 2014, Rurik Jutting lured two women, both of whom had entered Hong Kong on tourist visas, into his apartment under the pretense of paying them for sex. One of the women, named Sumarti Ningsih, was a 23-year-old Indonesian prostitute. The other, 26-year-old Seneng Mujiasih, shared a similar background, both women working in the world's oldest profession to survive. They had no idea that their final night would be spent in the apartment of a man who had already made a decision, one that would seal their fates. Jutting offered them money to come to his apartment, but once they were inside, he unleashed a terrifying series of events. Over the course of several hours, Rurik savagely tortured both women. His methodical cruelty was as terrifying as it was calculated. Using knives, ropes, and a disturbing level of control, he slowly and deliberately took their lives. After the women were dead, Jutting's psychotic tendencies took a chilling turn. He filmed the entire ordeal, capturing the brutal final moments of their lives on video. It was a clear indication that this wasn't a crime of passion. It was something far more sinister. The horror began to unravel when Rurik Jutting called the police himself. He placed a phone call that would soon become infamous in the history of crime investigations. In an eerily calm voice, he told the dispatcher that he had murdered two women and that they were in his apartment. He even offered details about the victims and where their bodies could be found. But what followed was nothing short of a detective's worst nightmare. When police arrived at his luxury apartment, they were greeted by the grotesque scene inside. Sumarti Ningsih and Seneng Mujiasih had been brutally murdered. Their bodies were lifeless, discarded as if they were mere objects. Investigators quickly moved to the next stage, gathering evidence. Inside the apartment, they found chilling video footage of the entire crime, including Jutting's taunting, methodical violence. This evidence painted a clear picture of a sadistic killer who had meticulously planned and executed the murders. Yet, there was something more, a mystery that still lingered. How had a man so outwardly normal, so seemingly successful, committed such monstrous acts? As the investigation unfolded, detectives began to piece together a timeline of Rurik Jutting's life leading up to the murders. Interviews with friends, co-workers, and family members revealed unsettling details about his behavior. Many described him as a charming and intelligent man, but there were whispers of troubling habits. Jutting's online presence painted a disturbing picture. He had searched for explicit content involving violence, fetishizing the very acts he would later carry out. It was clear that his descent into madness had been a gradual process, marked by his unhealthy obsession with control, pain, and fear. But even more chilling were the moments when he appeared to show a complete lack of remorse. During police interviews, he was remarkably calm, his demeanor cold, and his responses unnervingly detached. As the investigation dug deeper into his psyche, they uncovered disturbing online chats where he had expressed fantasies of violence and domination. Despite this evidence, there remained a lingering question. Was Rurik Jutting a cold-blooded sociopath, or was he the product of a deeper psychological disorder? What drove a man with so much to lose to commit such a heinous act? While the investigation into Jutting's actions seemed straightforward, several unanswered questions lingered in the minds of both the public and the authorities. Was Rurik Jutting's violent behavior the result of deep-seated mental illness? Or was it purely an act of sadism and power? One theory that gained traction was that Jutting's crimes were a result of childhood trauma. Some pointed to his history of depression and past behavioral issues as possible catalysts. Others suggested that he was merely an opportunistic predator who targeted vulnerable women, seeing them as disposable objects. Another controversy surrounding the case involved the treatment of the victims. It was reported that the police, upon arriving at Jutting's apartment, had initially mishandled evidence and failed to properly secure the crime scene. Was this a result of poor procedure, or was it a deliberate effort to downplay the severity of the situation? On November 4, 2016, after an intense trial, Rurik Jutting was convicted of the brutal murders of Sumarti Ningsih and Seneng Mujiasih. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The conviction was a long-awaited moment of justice for the victims, but it left a trail of questions still unanswered. Despite being convicted, Jutting's actions and motivations remained a source of intrigue. Was he truly mentally ill, or did he simply enjoy the power he held over his victims? The lack of clear answers to these questions left many people wondering about the true nature of his crimes. In the aftermath of the trial, the families of the victims were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. The memory of Sumarti and Seneng, two women who had been forced into desperate situations, will never be forgotten. The story of Rurik Jutting is a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving. No matter how successful someone seems on the outside, it's what lies beneath that truly defines them. Rurik's case teaches us the importance of recognizing signs of emotional and mental distress before they lead to irreversible consequences. It's a stark reminder that we must pay attention to people around us and seek help when we notice troubling behavior, no matter how subtle it may be. As we conclude today's deep dive into this disturbing crime, remember, justice may have been served in Rurik's case, but the questions it raised about human nature, mental health, and violence continue to echo. If you haven't already, make sure to catch up on our previous uploads right here on the Crime Exposed channel. There's always more to uncover, so hit that subscribe button, like, and share with your friends, so we can keep bringing you more true crime stories that dive deep into the darkest corners of the human mind. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next gripping episode.